Yeah, so it really, when making especially like DVD menus or anything like that, it's a really good idea to or like um, title animation. It's a good idea to keep your text within these boundaries, and that's what they're there for. They're there to help. Um, Over here we have what resolution we're viewing our project at. Sometimes when you've got a lot of effects and layers into your project, you might have trouble like previewing this because it might take a long time to do a render. So you could just set it to a third and it will automatically adjust, or to full or half, or whatever you want it to be at. That's pretty simple. These are used for more 3D things. We won't get into that. Okay, so what we have right here is the OpenGL preview button. This pretty much allows your graphics card to help the CPU in like rendering, or lets the computer use the video RAM. So that should be automatically set, but you can turn it off if you have any problems. Let's say you're getting glitches or After Effects errors while you're previewing your footage. You just turn this off, and it solves most of the problems. So now we're gonna come up here. This is our pointer tool, the selection tool, which lets us click on anything that we want. And such, this is our hand tool. Let's say we zoom in on our footage and we selected our hand tool. We can click and we can move around. That's pretty helpful. I'll just set this back to 100%. This is the zoom tool, so you can just zoom in on a certain part of your footage. This is the rotation tool, so if we click the rotation tool, we click our footage, then we click over here, we can just rotate our footage as we like. If we hold shift and these key points to rotate it at, so that's pretty straightforward. This is the, these are tools for pretty much drawing shapes. So let's say you have, here I'll show you how to make a solid. So what we're going to do now is go Layer, New, Solid, and we're going to make a new solid, so we'll just call this New. It's going to be black, and it's going to be comp size. So here's our solid, and we're just going to scale that down for now by pressing S and then just modifying this. So here's our black solid, pretty straightforward. So we're going to click on our rectangle tool, and then we're just going to draw a rectangle in. So now this solid is only taking up that amount of space. Like, we pretty much define with this tool like what we're viewing in the actual shape. So let's say that, or so there's our black solid, but you can't only do this on solids. You can do this on pretty much anything else. So here's your footage here, and let's say you only want to see this part of your footage, and there you go. You're only seeing that part of the footage. So you can imagine that comes in a lot of useful ways. When you apply one of these under your footage, you can see how it says mask. This is pretty much the mask that you applied onto your footage, that layer. So if you go into the mask options, you can keyframe everything in here, so everything's keyframeable. But it's just quick rundown, so we're not going to get into that for now. I'll just delete that mask, and you can just delete the mask by clicking delete on it. That's pretty straightforward. Here we have our pen tool, which we can manually make masks in if we wanted to. And it will manually make a mask if you don't want to use one of the preset shapes. Now we have our text. So this is our text editor. So we just click there, then we click somewhere on our footage, and then we can type what we want, like hello, this is test. Then we go back to our pointer tool, and then we can move this text around. We can scale it up. You know, you can, any of these points, they're all for scaling. We can change the color of the text. Say nice bright red right there. Yeah, it's pretty customizable. You can change your font over here. Pick any other font you like. You can, all the spacing, the bold, all of that. It's pretty much in the character that comes up as soon as you select some text. So we'll just click back on our presets, and as for this text, well, we'll keep this text here for now. So as you can see, we just made a text layer. So we added a new layer above our video layer. So that every piece of text that you have is going to be a new layer, and it's going to apply itself automatically to your timeline. Just like with anything else on timeline, you can modify it, you can add effects, anything you want, you can do to it. It's just like any other layer almost. Now, that's pretty much all I'm going to cover up there. I'm going to go here. Now, this is on a Mac. On a PC, it's slightly different. I forget where this option actually is on a PC, but you can probably find it without much trouble. So here we're going to click on After Effects. We're going to go to Preferences and General. This is pretty much your preferences. This is where you would customize After Effects to your liking. You guys can read in depth of what you want about this, but this is just pretty basic. This is general, levels of undo, like what it shows, what it doesn't show, the colors. Now this is the preview. So if you click on OpenGL info, you can actually see if your graphics card is supported by After Effects for acceleration. So mine is, and it says supported, and it says the texture memory and everything. So that's a good thing if your computer supports this. It's really gonna help your it's gonna make your compositions like render and stuff faster. This is the appearance. Normally when you load up After Effects, it should be like that. It should look like that. But I like mine to be darker. Some people like it light, some people like it dark, some people just like it on the default. I like it dark. So that, if you guys are wondering about that. This is another important one, memory and multiprocessing. Now, if your computer has multiple cores, you can enable the multiprocessing. This is a quad-core computer, so we have 4 cores on this. But this will significantly speed up anything that has to do with rendering or just applying effects or anything like that. Here it talks about your system. This is what After Effects is detecting. So it's detecting that I have 4 CPUs, 8 gigs of RAM, and now it's telling me that After Effects is going to use a total of 7.5 gigs of RAM and leave 0.5 gigs for anything else that's running in the background on the computer. By clicking this checkbox here, which I did, you can allow all the processors to be used, and then you can give every processor like a minimum of 1 gigabyte of memory, so it has that much to work with. So then here just give you some more information, and here's a description of pretty much what I just said. So really everything else, you guys can look into that, but nothing else I believe is truly important that you need to know. These buttons up here, it's pretty simple. This is your new, just like in any other program. New this, new that. Save is also here. Here's your edit, your composition. You can make your new composition. If I select my composition, all these options become available to me pretty simply. This is the layer. I don't usually use this tab, not that much. This is the effects tab, where all the After Effects effects are laid out here. You can just look at them as you like. Pretty much everything else isn't that important, except there's one more thing I'm going to cover now, is the render queue. Now, the problem I see with most people that use After Effects the first time is that they want to get their video out of After Effects. And what they're going to do is they're going to go File, and they're going to see Export, and be like, oh great, now I can get my video out of here. Wrong. You don't actually use this. Real way to actually export something out of After Effects, you're going to click on your composition that you're working on. Composition, you're going to go Add to Render Queue, right there. It's going to bring up this tab. This is how you render things out of After Effects. Now, first thing you want to do is click here on the output module. Now this is going to bring up this window, and here you select the format you want to output your video in. Most of the time I'd recommend QuickTime Movie, although it might be large with high bit rates, it seems to give you the best quality. Like if you have anything else that you actually want to do, you just select it right there. But for now, I'm actually going to demonstrate using H.264, which one of my favorite formats. So now we have our format selected. We can, we want the video output. We also, let's say you want the sound. You can select the sound output. You can stretch it, crop it, whatever you like. If you click on format options, this is different for every format that you pick. You can select exactly what it's going to do at these advanced parameters. If you don't know what you're doing, I suggest just don't touch it and leave it as it is. Either way, it's probably going to turn out fine. But if you know how to fine-tune it, go ahead and do that. Once you're done there, you just click OK. Output 2. We click on the text, and now we can choose exactly where we're going to output our footage. It should be pretty simple, like you just select where you want to do it. Pretty straightforward. When you have all that done, all you got to do is click render, and it's going to render out your footage. Now here I'll demonstrate. I hit render, and now it is initializing the background process. That may take some time. But essentially what it's going to do, it's just going to start rendering, and this is the progress bar. And as it does that, you're also going to see a live video preview of what it's doing right here. So as you can see, it's rendering. I can pause it at any time. But as you can see, rendering takes up a lot of CPU power. So I really don't recommend doing or going on the internet or doing anything while it's rendering. I just leave the computer and go get like a cup of water or something, just wait for it to render. That's what I'm going to stop it because I don't actually want this rendered. So that was a quick rundown of After Effects. I hope you guys enjoyed this and found this tutorial useful. So this was Kevin Littman for Ion Films, and we'll see you next time.